what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the personas, the players and layers at all 4 or 5 layers. Pitches, what to do and say and ask to meet them. And growth strategies. A little bit about, well, great, we met you. Why are they going to keep talking to you? And you're going to get ideas you can use right away. I'm really excited to bring this to you. This is our proprietary players and layers methodology. So let's do it. And we're going to finish up with steps for next time and resources. All right. So data shows that most awards are based on 1 to 3 offers. So that is the marker of a relationship sale. Buyers have to show they shopped, but they also then narrow the field as quickly as they can by using things like contract vehicles, a type of open jaw contract, or if you've done business with PWGSC, master standing offer, that kind of thing. Micro purchases. There's smaller purchases they can make, and we're going to be talking about that in the next webinar without big, huge proposals. Simplified acquisitions, similarly, another kind of easier way without massive proposals. Contract modifications to make changes to a contract that's already in place so that they don't have to run another big competition. They can do sole source through unique source or emergency designation, but they're under a lot of pressure not to do that, and the justification is long and complicated. But relationship. There are not very many buyers in DoD who have more than $30 for a bucket of bolts who don't already know who they want to work with. Because especially in DoD, honestly, lives are at stake, not just missions, but lives at some level when they choose you. So they have lots of motivation to stick with the buyers they already know, unless they've got a problem they've never solved before, and they're still going to turn to people they know and like and trust. Requirements are written with the winner in mind, and ways that you can tell that include there may be signs, or like poker tells, you find in the past performance requirements or desired requirements, how they define best value, the evaluation criteria, gee, does that look like you or not look like you at all, and the technical requirements. Is there a presentation showing? Can you confirm? Can you see the presentation, Anu?
I can. I can see the presentation. Is everybody else able to see the presentation?
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So it might just be an individual.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. And you want to compare the past contract award data as well with the kinds of requirements that are coming out, and you can get a sense of who they might be looking for or looking at. So DoD business is a relationship game, first and foremost. Well, great, but what does that really mean? You do business with people who have fears and needs and concerns that aren't even showing up in the RFP. So sometimes if you lose and you're fortunate enough to get a debriefing, and that may tell you you didn't understand the requirement, that really means you didn't get to know us. There's stuff that's unwritten that we also really care about, that we're afraid of. And that's some of those things that we also want to see. So there are 5 people you need to know every place that you want to win work. And you're going to build relationships with at least one, and often more of them, at each of 4 of these levels. All right, here we go. First, the end user. So we'll go through all of these in detail. Second, industry, or the current prime or incumbent primes, large and small. Third, small business specialists. That's a very interesting role for U.S. Canadian companies if you don't have U.S. subsidiaries. The contracting officer and the stakeholder. So let's dive in and get to know them all a little bit better. The end user, this is the person who's stuck with the consequences of choosing you. That might be a project manager. It might be the director of engineering. It might be the tier 1 help desk person. It could be the warrior in the battle space. Okay, these folks cannot sign a contract. They do define the requirement, and there's a special super end user called a contracting officer's representative. This person is bilingual, as in they speak end user, but they also speak the language of contracting. This is the person who gets to write up the requirement in language that can be put through the acquisition process, and they do something. Sometimes people will use a phrase called, we're going to throw it over the wall to contracting. And this is the person who writes that thing and then turns it over to the contracting team so that the actual acquisition, the competition process can take place. Okay. This is a very rich layer of players, and where you want to get to know as many people as you can long before a requirement hits the street. And those are the folks that may have authority for lower level purchases and that can find it easy to go and buy something small, product or service from you without a big, huge proposal. Okay, so you want to get to know as many of these folks as you can in the specific offices you've chosen, because remember, we talked about focus in one of our earlier webinars. So getting to know these players at all the layers is only feasible when you focus narrowly and you plan to go in, get to know them, and keep getting to know them. So the end user, their role is to serve the public, but they also serve internal clients, including the stakeholder, as well as other departments and other people and programs in their organization. They are performing the everyday work in the account. They're defining requirements. Their job is to deliver the mission on time, on budget, and work with the vendors they get. And that isn't always the ones they want, depending on how the competition got run. Sometimes they're collaborating with other agencies. They want it to make it easy. They're looking for low risk. They say they're looking for innovation, but they really want something that somebody else tried first. They need to make sure that what they're doing is compliant with rules. They're interested in improving performance and mission delivery. And they've only got so much money, so they definitely want to do it at lower cost. But cost isn't always the first consideration. They want to follow the rules. They're also concerned about what's going to happen with them at the end of their career. So if they have a failed project, that's a black mark on their file that can follow them around for the rest of their career and make it hard for them to get promoted. Because you're in the United States, your retirement benefits are based on the average of your best 3 years of salary. So if you fail as a vendor, you can have a long-term impact on whether on somebody's retirement, their ability to take care of their families, as well as the mission. So when they choose you, it's not just professional. In a profound way, it's personal. Give me a thumbs up if you kind of get that and are going, oh, I never thought of that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Awesome. So these are personal. So next layer, industry, the prime. There's the federal government. Most of you are not in the aircraft carrier business. That means that the person who is doing the buying is probably already buying something like or related to what you do, buying it from somebody else, and they're probably paying too much money for it and not getting the service you could provide. But those are the guys that they know and like. So even if you could do something better and wonderful and for a better price, they have no idea how to know for sure how it's going to turn out. When they wake up in the morning, they know exactly, your end user knows exactly what kind of miserable day they're going to have. And somehow that's more comfortable than somebody who promises the moon, but who knows? And these are your industry or competitors. I want you to think of them as competitive mates. The large primes have layers that can include somebody called the supplier diversity professional. There may be an account manager, a contract manager, the people in procurement or supplier management. There might be a mentor protege manager. If you're dealing with a smaller company, you might be dealing directly with the CEO or the business development people. So they have their own mix of players and layers. There's not just one person. You'll be meeting multiple people in the industry layer. And so you've got to figure out, gee, could you be bringing them more business? Could you be, or you're going to have to nibble something off their back porch when they're not looking. So they want to win new work. They want to unseat other incumbents. They got to deliver top performance. So when they're reluctant to meet you, it's not just that they're concerned about whether you can deliver, but if you don't deliver, that puts a black mark on their relationship with their buyer, and they really don't want that. So they are the second most risk-averse life form in the federal ecosystem. They want to deliver on time, on budget. They want to win recompetes. They want to expand their revenue and profit, which means that when the buyer has a budget, you're not going to get all the budget. If you're subcontracting, the prime is going to take a slice off the top. There's no free lunch. They respond to opportunity. Bring them opportunity, and you'll always get a conversation. Okay. They want to keep the client happy, low risk, compliant, high performance, low cost. They're terrified that something will go wrong and it's going to be their fault, not yours. Buck stops there. It really stops. They're concerned about high risk. They're concerned about losing business. Okay, next up, small business specialists. They are everywhere. Be aware that if your company is solely in Canada and you don't have a US subsidiary, the mission of these folks is to help, the primary mission is to help American small business to win up to 23% of the dollars of the contracts that are awarded, and to help large business meet their small business subcontracting compliance requirements. If they help you, they're just being nice to you. As a Canadian company, you're generally going to be considered other than small in government speak. So no matter whether you're two guys in a garage or CAE, you're going to be considered a large business in the US procurement system. Okay. So the small business specialist might help you navigate. They might help you locate small businesses that you can team with. Okay. But their primary mission is to help the agency, the DoD agency, meet the goals they've negotiated with the Small Business Administration, help end users find qualified suppliers, answer questions from American small business, advocate to expand opportunities for American small business. Now, you can team with an American small business if the work has been set aside for a small business they really like. It's more complicated, relationship. So they can help other than small companies, including you, meet small business subcontracting goals. If you as a Canadian company win a contract that's worth more than $700,000, then you must have a small business subcontracting plan. Okay, so you're going to need the small businesses and be able to do business with them. The small business specialist responds to opportunities to provide service, opportunities to achieve their goals. They're afraid of not meeting their goals, but you know what happens if they don't meet their goals? Honestly, nothing. If they can, their file is filled with good faith efforts to show they tried. So that's the deal with small business specialists. They can help you navigate. You need to be really clear that you're an other than small business, but you want to beat the smalls. The contracting officer. Contracting layer includes the contracting officer, which could be called CO for short, or in DoD, they could call them the KO, because in the military, the CO is the commanding officer. So get used to that nomenclature. They may have a contracting specialist or purchasing agent works with them to help dot the I's, cross the T's, and identify proposals that aren't compliant. The contracting officer has a power the President of the United States does not have, and that is the power to award a contract to legally bind your company to these United States in an agreement to provide products and services and to pay you for those products and services. So this is Josephine Cobb. Josephine Cobb worked at Travis Air Force Base for over 50 years. Can you imagine all the things she's seen? You do not want to mess around with Josephine. But Retina Tran is also a general engineer journeyman with Defense Contract Management Agency and Boeing's Mesa Contract Management Office. And that's also the face of contracting. They have pets, they have personalities, they have things that they're doing, they have special assignments, they're people. Always keep that in mind. Their role is to serve the end user. Their customer is the end user, to help the end user get legally compliant, best value, best price contractor to do the job. They conduct market research, which they have to do when they're deciding whether or not to set something aside or reserve it for small business. They have to make sure that they have achieved maximum practicable competition. They've done their best to shop around, give everybody a shot. They award contracts and administer them. They're on the hook to make sure they've spent the money by fiscal year end. Fiscal year end in the US federal system is September 30th. Keep that in mind. In Canada, it's March 31st. Tangent. In 46 of 50 states, if you're doing business with a state government, fiscal year end is June 30th. So if you're doing business with commercial sector, the Canadian government, federal government, and state and local, Christmas can come 4 times a year for you. You got a fourth quarter spending skew that happens. So keep that in mind when you're looking for places to keep the revenue rolling all year long. The contracting officer, they're on the nut to comply with rules and laws. What happens if you break a law? Prison. Think about that. They have auditors breathing over their shoulders. They have tiger teams that oversee the auditors. And if they don't execute the budget's going to go away. Look at that language. Tiger teams, auditors, execute, be executed, prison. Little wonder they don't really rush to return your call if they've never heard of you. You do not want to be making these guys your first call. They're important. They respond to being able to meet end user requirements. But the end users need to fall in love with you and then be interested in walking you across the hall to contract and say, here's these guys that can help us solve our problem. Now, what are some of the ways that we could do this in a way that is easy, that is legal, that is appropriate, and we'll get it done on time, on budget. Okay. In some places, the end user shop and the contracting shop get along like best friends, skipping through the daisies. In other places, the end users think that contracting shop is the purchasing prevention program, and the contracting shop think the end users shouldn't be trusted with 5 cents to buy bubble gum, and they're constantly fighting. So your mileage may vary. You've got to get to know the players in the individual places. They're constantly thinking the same as your end users about following rules, protecting, making sure that they can do it in a way that is also protecting their careers and delivering the mission. And they've got long-term goals to deliver the mission and take care of their families and long-term security. So that's the contracting shop. The stakeholder, that's the cabinet secretary, the administration appointee, the base commander, chief information officer. They're often the people that folks get so excited that they're on the big stage, on the big room with the dark room with the bright light, making the big speech. You're going to go and hear them at the conference. And they come off the stage and 50, 60 people are all gathered around to talk to them. They're not the ones who are in the room when you get chosen. Okay. The last thing you want to do is lean on the stakeholder and say, I've got this great idea. I can solve your problem. The worst thing that can happen is that the stakeholder goes, oh, great. Let me walk you down the hall and introduce you to my program manager. Don't get excited. The program manager, that's one of your senior end users. They're going to sit there and say, oh, that's a great, thank you very much. We can hardly wait to hear what you had to say. And they'll do the perfunctory 30-minute meeting. You are gone because you didn't do the work to get to know the people and the end users and the program and the requirement. When the stakeholder sits you down in front of the program manager, it's like you're showing up covered in stakeholder drool. That's a mandatory meeting, but the stakeholder doesn't have the decision-making authority to award the contract. End user and contracting do. The kind of conversation you want to have with a stakeholder is after you've met their end users and their contracting shopping. You say, oh my goodness, Cheryl is fabulous. You are so lucky to have her running this program. She was so helpful to me. And Chuck and Sally, phenomenal. They're the reason why your program is successful, even if you as the vendor did all the work. Okay, that's the kind of conversation you want to be having with your stakeholder. But you need to know who they are. They're the ones who are writing the agency mission, the agency strategic plan. You want to go any place, any office where you want to do business. Their strategic plan is available for free online right now. You want to read that, see what the stakeholder is telling the whole organization. They're on the hook to deliver the mission, serve the public, make sure that strategic planning and execution happens. And they've got top-level public accountability. They're the ones who are going to be on the front page of the Washington Post, below the fold, if your work as a contractor goes tango uniform. The buck does stop there. They respond to results, outcomes. They are visionary like you as business owners. Sometimes they care about their legacy. You know, what are they passing on to their successor or their legacy in the agency? But they're also on the nut for compliance. They're definitely afraid the mission won't be met. They are the one that's on the line because they're representing the president of the United States in a lot of ways as well. They care about concerns about waste, malfeasance, impropriety, and anything that reflects poorly on the administration and the president. That's your stakeholder level. So you're not going to call on the stakeholder, but you need to know who they are and recognize the senior mucky mucks names when people talk about them. So we talked about why not call on the unknown angel. Why you're new, you're innovative, you have track record, you've done business with Fortune 500 companies, but they've never heard of you. So no matter how bright the smile, no matter how firm the handshake, no matter where else you've been, if they don't know you, when you walk through the door, the only thing they see is a great big ball of risk, and they don't like risk. So 3 things to keep in mind. If you had to sum it up, your players at all 5 layers, they all want follow the rules, make it easy, make them look good. That place in the middle is where you should be. Now, I want to say something about follow the rules. When you have a new administration coming in, you can hear all kinds of things about, oh, we're going to change this and change that and overhaul the public service. The contracting community, the contracting profession, they are run by the rules. If it ain't in a rule, they can't do it. If it isn't in the rule, they can't do it. So, for example, if someone were to say, oh, well, we're going to put a 25% tariff on everything coming from Canada inside the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement Part 225, it says that Canadian products shall be available to DOD with free of tariffs. And unless that changes, then whatever else you hear on the news, keep breathing. Unless the regulation and the law changes, these guys are rule followers. Okay, so keep breathing. All right. I hope you get that. I was having a hard time getting distracted by all kinds of things getting said. I went, no, if it's not a rule, this is where it has to happen. Okay, so we said that we wanted to, so those are your personas. I'm going to have a resource for you at the end. So pitches, messaging for compelling connection. I'm so excited to bring this to you. So these 5 people, why are they going to talk to you? Each of them has different goals, different things that they wake up at 3 a.m. worried about. And you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help other people get what they want. That's a famous quote from Zig Ziglar, sales professional and motivational speaker. But you get through by aligning your goals with theirs. Because as industry, the kinds of the goals that we have as industry well, we want to grow our companies, we want to win business, we want to hire more people. Well, that's great, but those aren't the kind of goals that our stakeholders and our end users have. So we've got to be showing up, talking about what's important to them. Not, hi, I'd like to have this contract, please. Yeah, take a number. Okay, here's the first of 2 parts that help you do that. I'm going to talk about best values. You really want to take some notes here. Now, you might have heard this called a unique value proposition or a differentiator. It answers the question, why you? Why you? Best values express what's unique about your company. They have value to your buyer. They resonate with the player at a specific layer. And they're specific to your team, your approach, your offering, or your partners. Ideally, they are quantifiable and objectively verifiable. It's not just you saying the thing. Okay. What's not a best value is world-class solution. Family-owned business. This shows up more with the American small businesses. A partner in the North American defense industrial base. They're kind of, what? Most of them have never heard of it. Or over 500 years of combined experience. Sorry, Boeing is going to smoke you on that every time. Okay. But there are other ways to talk about why you and your unique strengths that can set you apart from others. I'm going to give you can screenshot these because I'm going to give you a real power list of details. The point is you don't need 56 of them. 3 or 4 will probably do, and you're going to pick ones that align with the players at each layer. Best values are most powerful when your unique qualities and assets translate easily into selection criteria that your buyer finds valuable enough to specify in a solicitation that makes it easy to choose you when they're behind closed doors down to the last 2 or 3, and to justify choosing you even at a higher price. It's really important. If you can do that, figure out what that thing is, and you're going to constantly be using those. So how do you figure out what your best values are? Well, what lowers perceived risk? That's a big deal. What do you do better than everybody else, and how can you quantify that? Why do you perform so well, so consistently? You might have a method, a methodology. Name your methodology. Why did your best customers choose you? If you don't know, ask them. It might not be for the reason why you think. What makes you easy to work with? Some of these things don't have to be rocket science. Hey, we've got an office 100 yards outside the chain link fence at Patuxent River Naval Air Station. Location, location, location. One of my clients has a translation services business, and they can find a translator for a shocking number of languages within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes. No matter where the call. Can you imagine that's a best value? Holy cow. So what could your best values be? This is screenshotable, folks. Location close to the customer. That could be one. Number of years in business. Many of you are established businesses. You are not just two girls in a garage. You haven't just founded your business. You've been in business, some of you, for decades. That's a big deal. But they don't know if you don't tell them. Outstanding or exceptional contractor performance assessment rating system. Okay, if you've performed as a prime and sometimes as a sub, you are your contracting officer should be giving you a performance rating. You want to make sure that you've got one of the two highest ratings. You're performing at a level that you can say, we've got 80% or more of our contracts, we've been given outstanding or exceptional CPARs. Oh, that's good. That lowers the risk. The experience of specific project managers on your team. Past performance with a specific type of project or situation. I was talking to another client earlier today, and he's done lots of work in corporate, in healthcare IT. He hasn't done business with the Defense Health Agency, but his work with big healthcare companies in the private sector can make him seem like a low-risk choice for Defense Health. I said, bring some of your case studies to show what was the problem, what you did, how you solved it, what the result was. Then, when that buyer is trying to define a requirement, they can say, must have done business with Defense Health or with a major corporate client of a similar size and scope. They're cracking the door open for you because they like you. Average years experience or education level of your team members. This is the kind of thing to express instead of saying, oh, we have 500 years of combined experience. You can say 90% of our key players have masters or doctorates in aerospace engineering. Oh, cool. Others, proprietary processes. Okay. Do you have the ABC Aerospace way that guarantees that remanufactured parts are within bumpty-bump tolerance, for example? Lower turnover than the industry average if you're doing staffing or people. That's definitely a big deal because churn of personnel, that leads to instability and quality problems. How fast can you deliver? And do you have stats to show your on-time delivery rate? Speed to deploy, safety record, industry awards and recognition, top rank qualifications, contract vehicles your buyer uses, partnerships with primes they know and love and trust. So when do you talk about these things? Mention them in your voicemail, mention them in your email, put them in your email footer, highlight them in capability presentations, things like your website, your capability statement. Mention them in conversations and mention them consistently. We're the guys that have we're the guys that have the lowest EMR rating in the construction industry in Canada. Being able to talk about those things and the right best value at the right layer is important. So you want to map your best values. So be selective. Be talking about the right best value to the person who cares about it. This is a screenshotable table. You want to think about what's important to the end users, to industry, the small business specialist, and contracting. What are they afraid of? And bring them a best value that lowers their hackles, makes them start to feel comfortable with you, to think you're the low risk choice. You want to be able to say, how I can help you, not how can I help you. If you ask, how can I help you, you're giving them homework. You want to show up having done enough homework that you can say, how I can help you is bumpty, bumpty, bump. The key to building relationships from contact to contract growth, you want to be able to connect those things because everybody's inner 6-year-old is running rampant around the contracting space. Because the question they are secretly asking is the same question that your 6-year-old is asking when you're coming up the walk, you're coming home, they're getting bigger, and so is this big thought balloon. And they're thinking, Mom, what did you bring me? Your mom raised you well. You know not to come to a party without a gift. You know not to come to a dinner party without saying, what can I bring? Same thing here. You want to be bringing them something that matters to them because you've done your homework and you know what matters to them. They're going to care about us because we create compelling connections. Winning experiences generate dopamine. Our brains are wired to give us a dopamine rush every time we do something or have an experience that experience helps us be successful. We do more of what we learn helps us win. The strange thing is that small wins generate almost as much dopamine as big ones. I want you to think for a moment. I don't need to know. You do not have to share this, but I want you to think about a really big personal achievement in your life. Maybe it was got my first job or founded my company, sold my last boat, had our first child, had our last child move out of the house, whatever that is. Okay. And now think about how long did the woohoo feeling last with that big achievement? Not that long. You worked so hard for that thing. And what's next? But the interesting thing is that the rush of the woohoo is almost as big for found my car keys or got the kids' lunches made as it is for got my law degree. Instead of despairing about that, realize it doesn't take much of a win to create that rush for your federal human, your DoD buyer or end user or contracting person. Sometimes they just need to know that you heard them, that you listen to them, that you're caring about them. Ever have one of those conversations when somebody picks up the phone and they just don't sound good? They don't sound like they did last time, or they sound rushed or distracted. When you take a moment to say, hey, I know we set up this time for 10 o'clock this morning. Is this still a good time to talk? They may say, to be honest, it's not. I'm at a funeral. That happens. But you say, my heart is with you. Please be with your family. We'll circle back. I'm thinking of you. Instead of pushing through, trying to have that conversation or even asking them to get out their calendar and rebook. Even that is a compassionate win. You're dealing with humans. Always think about that. So micro engagement momentum is one of my proprietary pieces. Here's how it works. Our players at all of our layers, all of them have goals. Our goal in industry, like make money, is different from the goal of the small business specialist, meet the small business goals, or the end user, on time, on budget, or the contracting shop, spend all the money and have no protests and don't break any rules. Milestones are then the middle pieces, and the micro engagements are tinier still. So I'm going to show you a little bit more what I mean. The milestones are an interaction between you and your buyer that represents significant progress towards your next step or result. That might be a big event they're holding to help them meet their goals. Might be a quarterly report. It might be, if you're the contracting shop, got that competition out and awarded. Okay, milestones help us know that we're on track. It lets us course correct throughout the year. Micro engagement is an interaction between you and your buyer that either of you can initiate and moves everyone a little closer to your shared goals. So micro engagement principle is this. Our players at all the layers have different kinds of goals and milestones and micro engagements that we can use and talk about to stay engaged with them because, hey, you've met them. Great. Hi, do you want me? Hi, do you want my stuff? Hi, do you want my stuff? That gets old in a hurry. What can you continue to bring them with each touch, each email, each call to show that you get them and you've got them? So if you're able to, not just in theory at the structural level, but for each individual human along the top line, if you know them and research them and talk to them well enough to have lots of things in all those boxes, you're never going to run out of things to talk about. And they know that every time they hear from Paul or Michelle or Serge, something great's going to happen. They know that you're the call they want to return. So lower the risk, get them to their goals. Some ideas for micro engagement include an opportunity-focused meeting, an introduction to the contracting officer or the end user. Maybe you have a conversation at a public event. They ask you for information. You answer their email. These are tiny little moves. Think of them like putting marbles in a jar. Trust is built one small interaction at a time. There's a ton of research on this. So each one of these small touches is another opportunity to show that you get them and you've got them, to build trust. They agree to a phone call. No answer. You leave a voicemail with a call to action. Now, who here loves leaving voicemail? Anybody? Put a thumbs up. Love voicemail. I thought so. All right. I'm going to restructure this. Okay. I'm going to get my really important contract. What if I could give you 30 seconds of uninterrupted attention right inside somebody's brain? Who wants that? Thumbs up. Let me see. Who wants that? Yeah. That's what voicemail is. 30 seconds of uninterrupted attention. So you want to make sure that, now I squandered my undergraduate career as a competitive debater. And the place where I learned at the University of Toronto, you were forbidden to read your speech. You could refer occasionally to notes. So working from a script is not something I do easily. I have to be dragged kicking and screaming. But when you're leaving a voicemail, you've got 30 seconds. You've got about 125 words, maybe. And if that. And you want to figure out, have their best value in there. You want to be able to have say, hey, here's who I am. Here's what it's about. Sorry, I missed you. Check your email. And if I don't hear from you by Thursday at noon, I'll call you back Friday morning. And you want to make that as warm and genuinely interested as you possibly can. So they go, wow. If that's what Michelin sounds like in a voicemail, I wonder what she's like in person. Yeah, I'll wait for Friday, see if she calls back. You call back on Friday. And it's another voicemail. And you leave another voicemail. Say, hey, small business specialist, thank you for all the things you do for small business. I so appreciate it. And I've got something in mind to help you meet your next milestone. Love to chat with you about it when we call. Check your email for a little more information. And if I don't hear from you before the end of Friday, I'll give you a call back Tuesday afternoon. And so not only have you shown that you're determined, but you show you do what you say you're going to do. That's 2 marbles in the jar. How great is that? Now, I'm way in the weeds on something that is a really powerful concept, but I hope that you use this and you like it. Don't be afraid of calling somebody back and doing what we call the double tap 2 or 3 times in a week. Because at that point, if they're breathing and they're on the planet and they're not out sick or something, then they're going to call you back just simply to hear your voice or to pass you off to somebody who genuinely needs what you do. Okay, so these are all ideas of micro engagement. It's a long haul, but we as humans, we're wired to respond to constant wins, and we are wired for connection. Don't ever be afraid of, oh, am I being a pest? No, you're not. Research shows it takes 15 to 32 touches to get from contact to contract. If you give up after 3 tries, that business is going to your competitor. Dollars to donuts. We've covered a lot. We've covered personas and players and layers. Some ideas for pitches, what to do and say and ask to meet them. Align your goals with theirs. Bring your best values to stand out. And growth strategies. Why they'll keep talking to you. Align their best values with their goals and milestones and micro engagements and keep showing up. There's more, but I hope I've managed to give you some ideas that are practical, and I'd love to take your questions. So we have resources for you, and then we have a chance to take questions. In a nutshell, here's another screenshotable slide. Here's your federal buying map. I want you to make a commitment. Screenshot this, keep it on your phone. Because when you're talking to somebody in DoD or pursuing that work, always figure out or ask them enough questions so you can figure out what layer are they at. Because you can get stuck in meeting with lots and lots of small business specialists without realizing that's who they are. And they're not your buyers. They're not your buyers. You need to be able to figure out what everybody's role is and be talking to the right person about the right thing at the right time. And bring solutions, bring business. So contracting specialist serves the contracting officer. Small business specialist supports everybody. Contracting office serves the end user. That's the second place you're going to go. Everybody's serving the stakeholder. Your third stop is the prime after you've got something to talk about. Small business specialist supports everybody. Only when you have something to talk about do you want to talk to the contracting shop. And our super user is the contracting officer's representative. So we've got more about all of this in my book, Government Contracts Made Easy, because easy is fiction. You can grab it off Amazon, and there's a book and a workbook. The micro engagement principle, you can learn more about it, see some case studies, why buyers like it, how it leads to winning contracts, when to use it, and it's all on this blog post here. It's all free. Capture it, go and take a look. The GovCon Personas Guide gives you more details and a recap on the players and all the layers, who the buyer is, what they care about, how to engage them, and tips for success. So, and we're coming up on the top of the hour. We've got some time for questions. Anu, what do people want to know?
So there is one question that Darius has, and he says, or she, I'm not sure. I register a one-man company in US. I would like to resell a piece of device which is made by a large company. Can I propose this device for an RFP, which is set aside for small business?
Federal Acquisition Regulation Part 19 says that a small business has to provide the product of a small business. So the answer is, in theory, a big it depends, okay? Because if they really like what you do and they haven't put the RFP out on the street yet, or depending on how much the gear is, the Buy American Act doesn't apply if the purchase is less than $10,000. Okay, so relationship. If you have an end user who loves this thing and really wants it, okay, and then end user walks across to the contracting shop and says, please don't set this aside, because if you do that, then we're going to have a problem getting the thing that we need. And so this works well when the contracting shop and the end users like each other. A little less so if you have somebody who's wandering around contracting with an attitude. Buy American, the attitude will trump just about every trade agreement, because the acquisition regulations give every single contracting officer pretty much a way to do. There's always a law or a regulation that will let people do pretty much the thing they want to do if they figure out how to do it. They're experts at getting it done. I hope that helps a little bit.
Any thoughts about, because this person said that they're going to be reselling a piece of device. Any thoughts about a reseller relationship? Is there going to be any things to consider?
Again, it's a big it depends. Sometimes a set aside is established and it'll be for the manufacturer, not for the reseller. There's controversy in the United States about companies that are actually resellers, but they get qualified as a small business manufacturer because they don't have that many employees, but they're actually just reselling somebody else's stuff. So each situation is unique, and you want to have the conversation with contracting to figure out what's the easiest way that you end user can get the thing that you want from us. So I'm not going to make a blanket generalization. The only generalization I'll make is that you can't generalize.
Okay, very good. So Tanya is asking, what was the DFARS that you mentioned that would enable Canadian businesses to be protected from any potential tariffs?
You're going to go down through Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement, Part 225, and CCC on their website has lots more detail about that. Okay, but that was when I was looking, say, hey, what do the rules actually say? That I was navigating down through there for the section about tariffs, customs, and duties as it applies or doesn't. In this case, to Canadian companies doing business with DoD.
Yes, let me see if I can find that in our blog. Now that you mentioned it, I do remember that, and I will send a link right now.
Great.
If you have any additional questions about working with the US DoD, you can go to our website, go to our Contact Us, and we will connect you with one of our export advisors who can answer a lot of your questions about how CCC can help you. And with that, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to hosting you at our next event. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks. See you all soon.